So, Assassin's Creed Mirage is probably one of the most mediocre games I've unfortunately played this year so far in 2023. I don't want to turn this video into just, me completely critiquing Assassin's Creed Mirage, but I feel like it's very hard not to. So guys, as usual, if you've got this far in the video, make sure you guys drop a like below because it does help me out a ton, and I want to hear every single one of your comments about how you guys felt about Assassin's Creed Mirage. I think that it's a very interesting game to dissect, especially within the franchise. The biggest thing I want to focus on is the gameplay, the attention to detail, and then just how the game feels to actually play compared to the other Assassin's Creed games. I feel like for me, that's the biggest thing that I cared about when I was going into playing Assassin's Creed Mirage. Like, that was the main primary thing that I was looking forward to, because as you guys know, we've had games, from the Assassin's Creed franchise that have expanded and then, have just improved upon the formula for the game, whether it was with the stealth, the quality of animations, and the overall world aesthetic, and just the whole thing of it feeling lived in. I feel like is the most important part about an open world experience, especially a game that, uses a historical setting and intertwines it together. I feel like that's always been one of the most unique things about the Assassin's Creed franchise. I feel like the worlds that Ubisoft builds are always so well done, but this is where I get to where Assassin's Creed Mirage has one of the best looking, I would say, graphics from any of the Assassin's Creed games. I am running a 4080 with an i7 processor, which is the most current gen, so I am maxing out the game, as you see in the footage behind me here. But I am very impressed with obviously how well the game performs. I would assume even on my old PC the game would be perfectly fine, because it seems like it's very well optimized and it just runs very well, especially how insane the rendering distance is, like on some of the some of the scenes of the game, and just in real time too. Very impressive. But this is where I'm gonna go into the next bullet point. I would say for me in this review, guys, is I want to talk about the parkour, the animations, and the overall quality that this game does. So, this game has probably one of the most clunkiest and magnetic feeling parkour systems from any of the Assassin's Creed games. It's almost like they really, I don't know, just didn't focus on making varied animations, I feel like, for the parkour. And it's super unfortunate just because you're seeing the same animations, I feel like, over and over and over again within the parkour. And I feel like the fluidity of some of the animations are just not up to quality, I feel like, for my liking. If you go back to games like Assassin's Creed Unity, obviously, which is, like the gold standard, I would say. I don't want to compare it, but I feel like it's hard not to, right? Because you have a game where the fluidity and the sense of speed is there, but in Assassin's Creed Mirage, Basim's character just feels sometimes super clunky and super slow, especially like in some of the gameplay clips I'm going to put behind me. Like, I want to focus on some of them here, you'll see, but like, it's just, I don't know, sometimes the parkour doesn't even work properly. Like, I've run into so many physics bugs where I feel like I barely jump from like a story building and I would just fucking straight up die like on the ground. Like, I was like, okay. I was like, well, I guess something I guess is going on with me, like, I don't know, not parkouring right, but after a couple of more times it happened, I was like, okay, this is kind of, I don't know, not working. Like I wouldn't grab onto certain ledges I would aim for. I would miss jumps and like just jump down to the ground, which was very weird at times. And the game would just bug out like completely at some times as well. But yeah, unfortunately, Assassin's Creed Mirage does not do well in the parkour department. It works for what it is. It's not, you know, fundamentally broken, but the effort and the usage of like, you know, giving like, I'm expecting quality animations regardless of this game, you know, of the backstory of it being a DLC. The thing is, what warrants me paying $50 still for a DLC basically though, you know what I mean? Like we're basically paying $50 for a DLC that was supposed to be in Valhalla, but it feels like I'm playing a mobile game. You know, not to put it down to that level, but I'm saying in terms of quality, you know what I mean? Like it's just not there. All right, so the rest of this review, guys, I kind of want to focus on the combat because that's another huge point for me in Assassin's Creed games, especially that being one of my favorite parts about the Assassin's Creed games is the stealth combat, the fluidity of the combat in most of the games. Obviously, as you guys know, if you saw my other Assassin's Creed Mirage video, I'm not a fan, or any of my other Assassin's Creed videos in general. I'm not a fan of the RPG games, but I do enjoy them still, but I'm just not a fan of them. I am a very OG AC fan, like at heart, so I don't know if you guys agree with that, but you know, to each his own, doesn't matter. Whatever games you enjoy is all that matters in the end. But going back to the combat for AC Mirage, it feels like the combat, again, boils down to the same point I was making earlier with the animation quality sometimes being very subpar. And like through my whole playthrough this game, the same takedown animations. It feels like there's 1 to 3 sword animations for like the executions when you parry in this game, and it just feels super lazy, man. Like look at these kills in Assassin's Creed 3 like behind me for some of these animations, or go back into Unity, or even like some of the older Assassin's Creed games like Brotherhood. I feel like the flair, the attention to detail, and the overall quality in general was just so much passion put into it. Obviously, like it oozes so much passion, like, you know, and you can see it as a person playing the games back in the day compared to Assassin's Creed Mirage that just overall feels like a bare bones Assassin's Creed game. That's just my personal opinion, guys. The combat sometimes, the lock-on system's very wonky. I don't know if it can't be my controller because I am plugged into my PC. I never had a problem with other Assassin's Creed games, even the older ones, where it feels like there's an input lag sometimes when I dodge roll or like move out of the way from enemies. And like the combat system is just so basic, I feel like. And the thing is, you can argue, right, that the old games, you know, you would block, parry, but go back and play Unity, like, and see how that basically feels like you're playing Arkham, any of the Arkham Asylum games, where the flow is so simple but so fucking satisfying, especially when you know, combine that with fluid animations, brutal animations, and so much variety of animations in general for like whether you're running or sprinting. If you're walking slow, there'll be different animations. Depending on which side you're facing the enemies, there'll be different animations catered. Like, look at some of these animations in Assassin's Creed Mirage. Like, there's literally no animation for when you take down enemies that are sitting down on tables. It just does the ground takedown, like they're lying on their back. That just goes to show you guys, like, I don't want to be, you know, that dude that's trying to nitpick, but being a real true Assassin's Creed fan, like, you know, to close up this review, guys, this game I recommend it on sale. Like, I would say probably $30 or less, but that doesn't go to say that the game doesn't have a lot of charm and flair regardless of it, because, you know, it's still an Assassin's Creed game, but it just doesn't hit that mark of feeling like it's gonna reinvigorate the franchise. You know, it makes sense that this is a DLC, but I still think that, you know, looking at it you know, critically through a lens of where you're, you know, trying to, I guess, have a game and an open world game, especially with what Ubisoft was promoting, saying that the world was gonna feel, you know, very reactive to you. Sometimes it does, and it just doesn't. You know, NPCs will, you know, it's pretty cool to call you out and like try to like, you know, like signal guards, but it's more like an illusion because they never really do. And I tested that out, as you see in the clips here and stuff like that behind me, where, you know, people would like point you and be like, hey, like, you're like, here's the guy or whatever, like, you know, like the assassin's here or whatever, like, you know, type stuff like that. The NPCs would say, which is pretty cool. But the thing is, they don't actually signal like the enemies to come, you know, to you. And it just feels, again, you know, like you're not immersed at all, as I was in the previous games. So with that all being said, guys, Assassin's Creed Mirage is a very decent game. It's just not worth, I feel like, $50 for you. If you're looking for an Assassin's Creed game, guys, unfortunately I'm gonna have to recommend looking anything below, I would say, Assassin's Creed Mirage at the moment, just because of the price. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely consider subscribing to the channel, guys, and I will be hopefully posting more content. I have a couple of Assassin's Creed videos queued up right now that I'm working on. So as usual, guys, take care of yourselves. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.